I'm leaving my family plus 2 updates. I am the youngest of 5 kids. My parents are heavily religious, and growing up, everything had to be done perfectly in public to maintain a great social status. I'm different from my siblings as I was never interested in maths and science like they were. I've always been the writer, the painter. I remember once when I was 13, I made a painting of a dove in a snowy field and won first in the competition. I told my parents, who got angry that I had wasted my time with something so worthless when I should have been using the time to study. I still had A's in every class. My mother won't even say more than a few words to me. She always seemed like she hates me and I don't understand. Father burned the painting to remind me of what was truly important before taking all of my art supplies until I showed more responsibility with my time. It's been like this as long as I can remember. I work full-time, and have since I was 15 at McDonald's, stashing every bit of money I could. Father took half my checks as tithing to help teach me what being an adult was like. I applied to several colleges but was told by my parents that they would not be helping me with tuition as they did for my siblings because they thought sending me to college would just be a waste of money. So I got angry. I am so tired of being the black sheep just because I like the arts more than maths and science. And then, I heard them talking when I got up in the middle of the night about the perfect man they'd found who was willing to take me in through our church. I am terrified, and so I'm leaving. I've got some money saved up, a good amount, and I'm leaving the country. I found a job that lets me work remotely doing freelance design work, and I've had my passport since I was a kid because of our family vacations overseas. I'm taking nothing other than a change of clothes, my laptop, and important documents I took out of my father's office. I booked a flight that leaves in 5 hours and I'm never coming back. I'm not even going to take my phone since I'd need to get a new number anyway. My best friend, God bless her, had been the one booking things and getting everything ready since I couldn't tip off my parents. She's also smuggled some of my more important things I can't take to hold on to for me. Update 1, my friend is completely amazing, she really is. She was ready and waiting for me when I crawled out through my window to meet her even though it was 3 in the morning. She bought my tickets to South Africa. I am in a hotel room. I landed only 2 hours ago after several layovers. Each time I was so worried that customs would decline or deny me entrance, but they didn't. I haven't slept yet, too wired up and twitchy. My hope is to gain citizenship, and I'm almost fluent in Zulu as I've always been a fan of languages. I already have an email from my father, but I haven't opened it yet. One thing my friend did when I met her in the car was that she bought another small suitcase and made me move my things to it before chucking my old one in a dumpster behind Taco Bell. She was worried they may have put a tracker or AirTag in the lining of my old one. I was afraid I'd see someone I knew at the airport, but Salt Lake International is massive and I didn't run across anyone. I haven't decided if I should renounce my US citizenship when I gain my new one. Once my brain settles a bit, I'm going to start looking into apartments to get out of the hotel. I also now have emails from my siblings and uncle. I got to chatting with one of the hotel staff. She's about my age and we really hit it off. She went with me to a local shopping center to get some new and better clothes. She also told me to always shake out my shoes every morning just in case. I've started apartment hunting, and it's well within my budget, like super low compared to how sky high it is in the US. It's honestly jaw-dropping. Like $81 for a studio apartment with a loft and kitchenette. Edit. I finally opened the emails, deciding it was best to probably get it over with. My father's email was filled with anger, there is no other way to put it. He said that by taking off irresponsibly like I did cost them the friendship of someone they'd planned on introducing to me. He never admitted that it was the 53-year-old they'd basically sold me to. Father stated that because of the social relations that had been damaged and impacted by my actions, I owe them approximately $85,000 in reparations. He also claims that he will be taking me to court if I don't pay it in full within 30 days and return home, as I obviously cannot be trusted. I plan to ignore that as I believe him to be bluffing. He ended his email with, "You belong to me, and I won't tolerate such defiance when we've put a roof over your head and taken care of you for your entire life. You were never the child we expected, it's time you make up for your deficiencies. I expect you home within the next 2 weeks." Yeah. No. My siblings were basically copies of my father's email, admonishing me for throwing the efforts of our parents in their faces before running off like a coward unwilling to face the fallout of my actions. I skimmed them honestly, before just deleting them. It's nothing I didn't expect. However, my sister-in-law, she's married to my eldest brother, sent her own email before asking me not to reply as she would be deleting every sign she sent it from her end. She congratulated me on stepping out on my own and getting away from my parents and their demands. She said that she herself hadn't been strong-willed enough to stand up to her parents when they basically betrothed her to my brother. Which makes sense as I remember that they met and then married within 6 months, and even then I thought that was a bit strange. She pleaded with me not to return, and not to reply. That was it. It was a bit unnerving honestly, as I do believe her, and I'm sad that she is stuck the way she is. The last email was from my best friend. She said that the morning after I flew out, my parents had been on their doorstep demanding to see me. Apparently they believed I was hiding with her. They refused to leave, screaming for me to stop pretending I wasn't there. It caused enough of a scene that the police were called, but they only talked to my parents briefly and let them leave. It really angered my friend, who'd wanted them arrested for threats and trespassing. The police only claimed that there wasn't a pattern of behavior that would warrant them being arrested and charged. Before just leaving. She didn't know when they realized I wasn't there at her house, but they didn't come back thankfully. However, word has spread of me fleeing the safety of my parents' home and how they wanted me to return as they were concerned and fearful of what may happen with me out on the streets alone. The church ward has actually done searches of the area trying to find me. I don't know what they'll do from here, but they have no idea I left the country, let alone the state. My friend has no plans to say anything, and neither do I. As far as I'm concerned right now, they can live with that state of wondering for the rest of eternity. Update 2. I haven't replied to the emails, but I have saved them in printed copies and laminated them just in case. I will not be renouncing my U.S. citizenship, and my passport is good for another 8 years. I don't hate religion, regardless of what it is or the fact that religion was going to sell me to a 53-year-old man known for roping women but getting away with it due to his ties in the church. Either way, in my eyes, a person's relationship with God is incredibly personal. If a person connects with him via camping, or walks, long drives listening to music, acts of service, that's their choice and it's just as valid in my opinion as sitting in a pew is. Possibly more as they're honest with themselves. Instead of just putting on a false facade for the public eye. I plan on ignoring any further emails from my family, other than printing them out just in case. They've made several phone calls to my friend who had fun with them. The first time your father called, yelling that I hand you over, I pretended to be cowed and gave him your location. It took him to an adult entertainment club. He came back screaming at how I had embarrassed him. I just hung up on him honestly. She did that each time they called, giving a different location each time. Her favorite was sending my parents to an unclothed beach. My mother passed out apparently. My friend is looking to move and eventually plans to join me but will jump around a bit so that they don't follow her to me. I did finally read my uncle's email, but it was just a copy of my father's with the added comment that he and his fellow cops would be looking for me to bring me home safe before I got myself in trouble and hurt. I am being watchful, and I know better than to wander into dark alleyways and abandoned places.